What is up, rebel colonists and Mars citizens? I am just a simple new type, and in this episode we will witness a new era blossom as we go from After Colony to Mars Century, or MC Era, as we begin our coverage of Mobile Suit Gundam Wing, Frozen Teardrop, Volume 1, Rondo of Redemption. In this episode, a young Kathy Poe will meet with Master Wang, where they look into the files of After Colony's past. With the help of virtual reality, we go back in time to AC-170, where we see how Trace Kusanada came to be. So let's get into this. MC-0022, Mars's Oceanus Borealis is still a wasteland regardless of the terraforming efforts on Mars. A ship is heading towards a preventer base. They're 5 kilometers out. This is Kathy Poe, daughter of Sally Poe. She is a representative of President Dorothy Catalonia. Yes, that Dorothy, with the eyebrows. She is meeting with the preventers. Like we saw in Endless Waltz, they are still responsible for dismantling weapons in the pursuit of peace. She is delivering a data chip to Master Chang, along with the database of the Earth Sphere's History Bank. The files are titled Summer AC-195, Autumn AC-195, and Spring AC-196. She knows that this involves the elusive Gundams, and knows that AC-195 was the apex of history. This first file was written in German regarding a person named Miliardo Peacecraft. The author of this is most likely Trace Kusanada himself. Each section begins with an excerpt from Bohemian poet Rainer Maria Rilke. His works focus on disbelief and crisis of faith. AC-195, Summer. Miliardo reflects on the beginning of humanity into space and even references the Anno Domini era. He says that man has become stagnant and exploration is far and few between. Conflict amongst humans tends to distract exploring. He thinks that losers will be the ones to guide the way. The passage is credited to the author TK, which leads people to believe that it is Trace, along with a fixation on losers, which is something he used to dwell on. Trace and Miliardo met during what is now being called the Eve Wars. The next file is from September of AC-195, which is a video file of Duo Maxwell talking to some classmates. The Gundam pilots are always undercover as students whenever heading out to missions. He talks to them about the complex relationships between Earth and the colonies. His face is blurry, but it is the only known footage of a Gundam pilot. He talks about how the colonies can't forget the natural beauty of the Earth. She doesn't believe that this is actually Duo. Kathy then notices the name of the person who archived the next file. It happens to be Sally Poe, her mother. Spring AC-196 is a video file between Relina Darlian and an old man. The footage is grainy and the audio is the only thing of value. This was during the 8 months of peace before Marimea's rebellion. She talks about how revenge is a disease that can be passed down from generation to generation. She once again dwells on the idea of total pacifism and whether it could be achieved by throwing down arms. The man wonders if this is why she is planning on the Mars terraforming project. She believes in it wholeheartedly. They also mention that Hito is on a mission. These files are only accessible to the preventers via Master Chang. Also, a part of the files are blueprints and a manual for an artificial hibernation cryogenic capsule. The blueprints are simply from someone named J, most likely referring to Dr. J. They make it to the preventer base near the polar ice caps. She says that in the sky she could see Deimos, a moon orbiting Mars, and relates it to a frozen teardrop. Ooh, title drop in the first episode. Also, if you look at Deimos, it isn't completely spherical and does indeed look like a teardrop. She meets with Master Chang. If you haven't realized it yet, this is Chang Wu-Fei. With Master Chang is a priest with a ponytail who says that Kathy looks like her mother. She pulls a gun on the man to assert dominance, but he is unfazed. This is Father Maxwell, and with him is his son Duo. They wonder why he is named after the famous Gundam pilot, not putting 2 and 2 together. The data files that Kathy brought are key to awakening Princess Aurora from hibernation. They could begin Operation Mythos. Trace File 1. Mars now has an Earth-like atmosphere, although they are still 3 times lighter than Earth or the colonies. The book spends an entire page waxing philosophical about the northern lights of Mars. It's gonna be one of those type of books. I could already tell. Awakening Princess Aurora requires 3 preludes. The data seems to be a password of the sorts. Inputting the passwords will be the defrosting procedure. She says that Tchaikovsky's ballet, which Operation Mythos is named after, has 4 parts. Master Chang says that Father Maxwell has the 4th part. He says that his part is most eloquent, but he is more focused on the defrosting procedure. Apparently, there is an 80% chance that one's memories will be reset upon awakening. That's too high a risk, I feel. But that is also the other reason for the data. Old memories help in memory retention. Duo wonders where his partner is and calls his dad Father Crapswell. Ha, good one. The kid is a pilot. He boasts about being far superior to Princess Aurora. The father apologizes for his son. He has been like this since his mother passed away. You could probably guess who the mother was. He wonders if Maxwell is a preventer, but he says they are more just old friends, or rather, more of a frenemy. Father Maxwell and Master Chang catch up. Kathy doesn't want to interrupt, but it is a part of her mission to acquire intel. They tell her that because the fragility of the mind, they have to not just read the files, but experience it. Father Maxwell pulls off his glasses, which happens to be virtual reality glasses. When he says experience it, he means literally. Well, virtually, but as a literary framing device, it is no different from reality. They could use it to reconstruct the mind, but nothing is guaranteed. He may even end up turning on them. After uploading the files, they are able to use the holographic monitor to navigate and explore all the files, or memories for lack of a better word. Wait, this is just that one episode of Rick and Morty.
More like a clip show made of clips you never saw.
They wonder why the earliest entry is AC-130. If you give Princess Aurora the entirety of human history, they may become a super genius, omniscient being. You must feed them data during their timeline. Yeah, but how about you make them an omniscient being? That sounds way cooler. The banter between Chang and Maxwell is great. Chang calls him a Western bastard with no heart, and the father calls him an Easterner that brings shame to his family. Just really digging at each other's personal insecurities like a real friend would do to piss you off. The first record is of Trace Kushanada, AC 171 to 195. It goes over a description of Trace and how he memorized the names of the dead and focused on the losers. He died by the hands of Gundam Unit 5. That's Master Chang. Kathy wonders why he focused so much on losers. People painted him as a hero, but he was more complex, enigmatic, a very melancholy man at many times. She puts on the visor and sees the word 0, the name of the program that allows them to view the memories. The year was AC 170, winter, a year before the birth of Trace. Ayn and Angelina were on the American continent. The two lovebirds kiss. Ayn Yui was born in a space colony in AC 150. He was the nephew of Hiro Yui, the original Hiro Yui, the representative of colonial affairs. Ayn's job was to bridge the gap between the Earth and the colonies at the age of 20, while visiting the Rockefeller Foundation branch in North America. He met Angelina Kushanada, a Rockefeller representative. The two met at a party and have been sneaking around for some time. Ayn was faithful to Hiro and the colonies, and Angelina was faithful to Rockefeller and Earth. In the end, Ayn returned to the colonies without her. Colony VO-8744 was once a melting pot colony, but now one of the most fierce anti-alliance colonies. Their anarchy is fueled by their lack of resources and anger towards the Earth Alliance. Even though Hiro Yui is the famous one in the history books, it can be said that Ayn played a vital role in strengthening their inter-colonial support. He was able to convince VO-8744 to lay down arms. God, the names of colonies in this universe suck. It's like reading a barcode. After this, Angelina came to him. The two eventually got married at VO-8744 in Maxwell Church. Ayn threw himself more into his romance and his work with Hiro. Angelina traveled and lived the nomadic lifestyle that Ayn lived. Summer, AC 171. Angelina returns to Hiro and Ayn's home colony around the L3 point. She is 6 months pregnant. Hiro suggests that she give birth on Earth. Apparently, older generations of After Colony are superstitious about children being born in a colony due to birth defects. It is something that has been solved for a long time, but older people are superstitious about it still. The Winter family of the L3 colony is still doing births using test tube babies and DNA manipulation. He says that he is concerned with her father, Duke Songkant Kushanada. Still sticking with the number name motifs, I see. He thinks that they should seek out the Rockefeller Foundation, but she says bluntly that they have no connection with the Kushanada family anymore. She says not to worry himself and asks why he won't marry. She says if anything were to happen to him, Ayn and her new family can take over for him. This is the last conversation that these two will have. Sometime later, Angelina was randomly abducted by a mysterious man. Ayn is certain it was the Kushanada family. He eventually gets a message that says goodbye. Considering your precarious position, perhaps this is for the best. He refuses to allow them to take her. He gets into contact with his friend Kant, who acquires intel that they are heading to the spaceport. If you remember from our coverage of Mobile Suit Gundam Wing, Kant is the leader of White Fang. They head to the spaceport where he runs for Angelina, but he is instantly surrounded by Alliance soldiers. A Commander Septim tells him to stand down as he is trespassing. He is just a middling commander here, but in Gundam Wing, this is the general that Lady Un put a bullet through his head. He keeps moving forward. Septim's men shoot him in the shoulder, then his ankle. He falls to the ground but keeps crawling forward. The commander points a gun at his head, but the plane has taken off. He doesn't need to die. He is taken into custody instead. In jail, he thinks that he will see Angelina once again. Unfortunately, the two lovers will never reunite, and things will only get worse for both of them. And that will do it for our introduction into Frozen Teardrop. A new era is upon us with legacy characters and new characters. We know very little of the Mars Terraformation project, but we will learn more soon. One thing that's going to suck is that in the anime, the over-the-top drama works and comes off as quite funny. In the written form, this over-the-top flowery language gets old real quick. Luckily, I could filter out that nonsense for you guys, but I still have to suffer. Next time, we will learn of the fate of Ein. Angelina will usher in her son into the world, and she will remarry and have a second child. We will see the assassination of Hiroyui, which leads to a bigger conflict. And the two Kushinaga brothers will have to learn to live without a mother. But that will do it for now, Mars colonists. Remember, this light novel just casually threw out that the Winter family does DNA manipulation to babies. What's up with that? Peace.